Hello, everybody. I want to talk about it's what you do that matters, not who you are. For much of our nation's history, women and minorities and those with disabilities were often excluded from top organizational positions, either because they were judged as not as capable or because they were expected to pursue other ambitions. Let's talk about women in particular. Women were expected to pursue marriage and motherhood. Raising a family was seen as more important in that society than obtaining some organizational position. Of course, 200 years ago, there weren't as many organizational positions, but still, women were expected to be more within the home than within the workplace. In the 1960s, those attitudes were shifting because of the high prevalence of women attending college. Thus, their attitudes were enlightened, as were others that attended college as well. Then the challenging job market of the 1970s meant that the sole family income could no longer support a household. Instead, you needed a two-income household. And in the 1970s, women started to return to the workplace more on a part-time basis. In the later 70s and 1980s, women started to enter into the workplace as a full-time member. And today, you can almost have equality in the workplace as far as the number of hours that men and women work, and also in the pay that women and men work. There's still some differences in pay, but certainly not as much as there was 30 years ago. And in the coming years, you'll see that all but erased. For those born in my generation, we can't believe it was any different in any other time. And women, minorities, and those who were disabled, should have been extended the same courtesies that anyone else should have as a citizen of our country. How it shifted over the years, and all for the better. What we know today is that fewer and fewer people, in this regard employees, are judged by their gender, race, and religion, or by their appearance, whether it's their height or their weight. Instead, we're increasingly judged in the workplace on these factors. First, that results matter. It's never anymore what you bring to the table. It's what you do when you're at the table. Resumes are great. What you've done in the past is admirable. Well, what is much more important in the workplace today is what you do once you get the job. And in fact, in some cases, even the degree is not as important in an organization as what you can do with the abilities that you have. Education's important, no doubt. And those that have education often make double what a person without an education has, specifically a college degree. However, it's what you do with that college education that is much more important than just having one. Second, you're judged by the pride in your work. This is in relation to quality. It's how well you do your job. Do you spend the extra effort, the extra time to make sure that what you do is the best it could possibly be? Third is that you're dedicated and loyal. Of course, dedication and loyalty doesn't exist from an organization to its employee, but the organization expects employees to be loyal. They expect them to show up on time and do their work. Fourth is how well you serve the customer. Customer service, your ability to bring in and retain customers. Those that can create a strong relationship with customers, especially the most important customers, are those employees that are going to be last to be let go. Fifth is that ideas that make the organization better are often paramount to nearly anything else. If you can make the organization more efficient, more productive, and more profitable through the ideas that you have, again, you're going to be one of the last persons to let go. More importantly, you're going to be one of the first to be promoted. And lastly, as we know, if you can work hard, be likable, and overcome obstacles, those are the type of organizations that work, and those are the type of employees that work in these types of organizations. So there you have it. We don't look for employees anymore that fill a certain need, for a certain criteria. We don't look to hire women. We don't look to hire minorities, or even those with disabilities. We look to hire the best. And in many ways, that's the way it should be. Today, we're going to look for and promote those employees who know that results matter. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It matters what you do now. Second, they have a great pride in their work, a high quality nature in anything they do. Third, that they're dedicated and loyal. Fourth, that they serve the customers. They bring in and they retain the most important customers, those that bring the greatest monies into the organization. Fifth, those employees who have the best ideas, the ideas that translate into something that's more efficient, productive, and profitable, are the employees that are going to be the mainstays, the superstars of that organization. And lastly, ones that always work hard, are likable, and overcome their obstacles. If you can be that type of employee, it doesn't matter what your history is. All it matters is what you do once you're hired. Thanks, everybody.